Hi everyone! Today we are going to look at our first lesson video, Flexible Learning in Individuals and Societies. To help with this, you need to have your guided notes, which you can find in bin number 1. I think it's a green bin. You'll need that before we start. So if you don't have it, pause the video, go and get it, and then come on back. Okay, so put your name at the top of your notes and the hour. And then write in that learning target. That learning target is right, That learning target is right here. It just says, I can describe flexible learning, and that's all you copy down and write in that learning target section. Okay, so what is flexible learning? Well, I want you to think about something for a minute. Have you ever sat in class and felt like you knew the material super quickly and you were bored because you were waiting and waiting? You had to wait for others to get finished to move on to the next thing, or you had to wait because others had a ton of questions but you understood the material. Or on the other hand, have you ever thought everything was going too fast and you're still on question 1 and the teacher is giving the answer to question 3 and you just can't keep up? Well, if you've been in either situation, flexible learning is going to help with that. Basically, what flexible learning is there's no pressure to complete assignments in the same speed as anyone else. So if for a lesson you're that kid that gets it really fast, you can move on and you can move fast. If you're the kid that needs to rewatch the video to really understand it, you have the time to do that. So you're not waiting on anybody and you're not rushing ahead to keep up with anybody. Now what I want you to do, it says, how do you feel in class? So just take a minute, pause the video, and just describe what are you usually feeling in class? And think about individuals and societies. Are things going too quickly or too slow? Then when you've answered that, you can restart the video again and then we'll take some notes. Okay, there's 3 parts to flexible learning. The first is that it's blended. So what I want you to write down are the words instructional videos and guided notes. So just write those 2 things right now. Every lesson will have that blended, which just means there's lots of different ways to learn. But what's going to be the same is there's always going to be a set of guided notes that go along with that instructional video. You're watching an instructional video now. What I'm asking you to write down are your guided notes. Now, after you do that, there's lots of different activities that you might be doing. You might be working on your own and doing a reading and annotating. You might be doing some vocabulary work with a Quizlet. You might be doing some research about something. You might be working with a partner, one other partner, and playing a game or creating something. We also still do some whole class lessons. So there might be a day where we're going to get together as a whole class, and those typically will be maybe a partner discussion. I mean, not partner discussion, a whole class discussion, or a gallery walk, or maybe play a whole class review game or do an escape room. Okay, so there still will be some of that whole class, but the idea of blended is that there's a lot of different ways that we're going to be learning in class. I just want you to jot down, so you've written instructional video and guided notes, and just pick 2 or 3 of the variety of activities that I mentioned to put down, just so you're aware that blended means there's lots of different ways. So just choose 2 or 3 of those to jot down. Okay, what else is flexible learning? Well, it's mastery-based. And what does that mean? That means you have to understand the material before you move to the next lesson. So if you understand the material and you're ready, you take a quiz or you do a mini project. And then depending on your score, if you show that you understand it, then you move on to the next lesson. So that's mastery. You have to understand what you've done before you can move to the next lesson. So you can jot that down too. Just show what you know before you move on. And then finally, it's self-paced. Now, on your paper, it says it's self-paced, but not no pace. So basically what you're doing is you're taking the time to truly understand the material And you're making the decision, what are you going to do to help you learn the lesson the best? Are you going to have to watch the video again? Is it going to be helpful for you to do something in a study toolbox? Or can you just watch it once and then you understand it? Are you going to be, taking more time with a partner and really having a big, long discussion on something? Or are you understanding it so maybe your discussion isn't as long? So again, it's self-paced, meaning that you've got the time. You don't have to keep up with anybody else to learn the material. So you can jot that down too. You decide how to use your time. You've got the time you need to learn the material in the best way you can. All right, flip your notes over. There's a little arrow. And then now we're going to be on the section that says due dates. So we've got target due dates and final due dates. When we're looking at target due dates, it's a little bit different than maybe what you've had in the past. Target due dates are for each individual lesson. Typically, we'll have 6 lessons in a unit. So if you could just jot down that it's when lessons are due, okay? And you don't have to write this part, but the guidelines, they help you to stay on pace with the current lesson so you don't fall too far behind. So if you look here, there's our little calendar. This is in Schoology, and you'll see it like this. And it tells you, okay, we're having a mastery check on lesson 1 on this day. We're having a mastery check on lesson 3 on this day, or lesson 1 and 2 was this day, lesson 3 on this day. So it tells you when you should be typically completing the work, but keep in mind, and so mastery checks are given at the start of class on target due dates, but we're flexible. So that means, let's say you feel like you're not ready, or you worked really hard, but you didn't get a chance to finish all of the activities for lesson 1. Well, you have the option of taking the mastery check a little bit later. So they're given on our target due dates, and I would say most people take them on the target due date, but if you're not ready, you could take it instead of at the beginning of class, you might take it at the end of class. You might take it during seminar. You might take it the next day. So there's a little bit of flexibility there. Now, how is that? So under target due dates, put their individual lessons. They help you stay on pace. They tell you when the mastery checks are given, but they're flexible. All right, and then final due dates. So let's look at the other side. Final due dates are the end of a whole unit. So you can write down end of unit, and that's all the lessons. They are hard due dates. So you can put hard due dates. They're not flexible, okay? Any lesson work that is not done by the final due date becomes a 0. So just kind of keep that in mind, and that's why it's important to stay on pace. But we'll work through that, and you'll be able to figure out, how it works best for you. So under final due dates, again, that's the end of a unit. You can jot that down. They're hard due dates, meaning that any work not done becomes a 0. Okay, your last slide. How is flexible learning helpful to you? Well, there's 3 main ways. So teacher in your backpack. So put in the word backpack in that first fill in the blank. And basically, you've got me anywhere. You could watch this video again if you needed to. You could pause the video. You could, if you were sick one day, you're always going to have a lesson video. And let's say you're super sick in the morning, but by the evening you're feeling better. Well, you could do this lesson. You could watch the video so that you don't feel behind the next day. So your lessons are really learned anytime, anywhere. That's why it's the teacher in your backpack. Also, you get this immediate feedback. Are you right? Are you wrong? You know right away. You're either checking in with me, or you're looking at the answer key that's posted, or you're getting an answer key digitally so that you know right away if you're on the right track. So it's that immediate feedback. And then finally, the third way, it says your plan. So I put a picture of a checklist here. You plan, you set goals for your day so that you learn the most. It's your time. And so you use it in the way that makes sense for you to learn that learning target so you learn it the most. So if you think about it, if we go back to the learning target, it was you can describe flexible learning. So think about if you can do that. What I'd like you to do is pause the video, just stop it, and you're going to draw a quick sketch for the teacher in your backpack, a little quick sketch for feedback in the blank box, and then a little quick sketch where it says your plan. When you're done with all of those and you are feeling like you understand this, come check in with me, your teacher, and you'll get a check-in sticker, and I'll look it over and make sure that it looks like you took the notes correctly and you understand what flexible learning is all about. See you soon.